talk, Kentucky's on fire. From bourbon to ball games, we got that flow. On the We Do This Too podcast, yeah, you know. From country roads to the city lights, they bring the heat, man, every night. We do this too, let's make it clear. If you ain't listening, you ain't here.
Welcome back, y'all. It's another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. And as always, we are presented to you in partnership with brands that we feel represent the very best of the outdoor industry. So before we get started, we'd like to give a special shout out to Moultrie Products, Ullers Archery, Threads Custom Bowstrings, G5 Outdoors, Blackburn Apparel Company, Deer Pip Scents and Lures, Vision Clothing, Bluebird Waterfowl Company, Angry Chicken Outdoors, Alps Outdoors, and last but certainly not least, a special shout out to the good folks over at Briley's for leaving a legacy of shooting innovation. Whether you need new cameras to elevate the scouting experience, new arrows, or anything for your archery setups, clothing, scent, or whatever it may be, as a supporter of the podcast, you can use promo code WDTT promo. That's WDTT promo for 15% off anything on the website at ullersarchery.com. Some exclusions may apply. With that being said, let's dive into another episode of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast with your host, Mr. Courtney Williams.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Williams, and we got all three of the Dude Jack Archers here tonight. We got Mr. Trey, got Mr. J Cam, Equalized Outdoors, the dreaded Archer, your favorite Archers. What's up, fellas?
Ain't no much, man. How you living, C?
Blessed, black, and highly favored, brother.
Always, baby.
Can't complain, man. Yeah, man. Had a couple cancellations this week, so I'm getting my boys on today. We're going to talk about a little bit of deer hunting. You know, September is about to be here before you know it. Everybody's getting their food plots out. Everybody's getting their cameras out. So we're going to talk about deer hunting in a perspective that somebody might not be able. They probably haven't been deer hunting, and they want to get out in the woods. Or this might be for the guy that's been deer hunting for a while and hadn't tagged out in about 3 or 4 years. So we're going to talk about some tactics and what you should do scouting wise and everything like that. So we'll start with J Cam, man. How you living, bro?
Man, I'm living, like you said, man. It's all about highly favored. I'm chilling. Just enjoying, trying to stay cool out here, man. You know, Texas is doing Texas things right now. It's trying to heat it up a little bit. But other than that, man, no complaints.
What's up? What about you, Trey?
Bro, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just found out, man. Got another little dreaded archer on the way. So super.
Oh, congrats, my boy. Hey.
So super excited about that, man. Today, let my mom and my grandma know. My brother, he knew the day I found out, which was Thursday, and then of course I told my aunt because we like this, so let her know. And then today told my mom and my granny, and which is wild because the last time I told my mom and granny that I was having a kid, we had a family member pass away. And they had just got back from a funeral of a family member, and I was like, "Damn, I can't be making this a tradition. This is kind of bad." One family member go out and not bring one in.
Man,
but
congratulations, man, and condolences to the family as well. But congrats, bro.
That's how God works, though, man. My grandmama always said, you know, when God closes the door, he'll open up a window. So,
yeah, for sure.
So, but shit, I got up this morning, man, and went out, shot the bow, and dude, the place that I go shoot my bow at, bro, they got a gun range literally like right next. Like I can see the guy shooting when I'm shooting my bow, and one guy was, man, I don't know what he had over there, but that joker was, man, ringing out. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. Am I bothering you?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, you good." He goes, "You want to come over and shoot?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
It's just part of that's how it is at the one here in Dallas too, man. It's owned by the city. So like part of the shotgun trap and skeet course, like you share the same gravel path. You turn left to go down the archery range, and they right there on the right. So like you'll be in the middle of bow,
Yeah.
boom. Like it's just part of life over here, man. But I told you I knew something was up, man. Like you was doing all that sleeping, talking about you was napping. I told you something wasn't right, boy. I told you this about 2 weeks ago. I said you sleeping like you got somebody pregnant. I
Hey
said
man, I did have a dream. I did have a dream about some fish a couple weeks ago. So
I told him that because bro, that's my telltale sign. I was just tired for like 2 weeks. I was like, man,
Well,
hey, you might want to take one of these. Like,
hey,
fair enough.
I didn't even think about it because I would say probably the last like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't nap during the day, but I be watching TV and
Bro, I'm telling you, I've been calling you, and this man be like, hey, what you doing? Man, I was asleep. I said, man,
yeah, that
something
man
ain't
be taking
right.
a
You
whole
don't be
lot of
sleeping like this.
that man be taking a whole lot of naps. I see
Yeah, he's
why
been taking a
now.
lot of naps. So now we know why. Congratulations, bro.
How many weeks is she?
6.
We
Six. So
right
you
in the
don't know
beginning.
what she got, what y'all having yet?
No, not yet. They said they can do some kind of like blood test and tell you what the gender is. So she want to do that on the 25th of this month. So we're gonna do that, but I don't want to know until later on.
We about to have give us a little new Jack Jr., baby.
I'm telling you, man, we need it because
New Jack Jr.
like the last like 8 births in the family have all been girls. So it's like gotta have.
It's cross for you, man, but it's a blessing either way.
But
Yeah.
I'm saying, but for me, man, like I would love a boy, but you know what I'm saying, if yeah, really, I just want a healthy baby, regardless of which one, wherever it is.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Old Trey been tear that ass up.
My boy been putting in overtime on the clock, man.
Whoa, bang bang.
God almighty.
Oh man.
Man, they about to get us they about to get us canceled. They gonna email C like, yo,
What are you
we
gonna
can't
call?
have them jokers on there together no more. Every
I
time
didn't,
y'all get together.
I didn't
it's
say
allowed.
nothing, man. I didn't say the words.
Hey, what are you gonna call Courtney? Hey man, I
Hey
can't
man,
post
look,
this.
man, I don't know about this. I don't know if you can't post this one.
It might have to edit that one out, but man, all right, let's get into it, man. So one of the main things when hunting any animal is scouting. Would y'all agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what deer hunt, man? When should hunters start scouting for September deer hunts? Did you start scouting like the week before the season, like a lot of people do, or when should you start? Go ahead.
You wanna know the
I'll
absolute
start with
best
you, Jay.
time?
Best
The
time.
absolute best time is already passed. Is at the end of is right at the end of last season. Like
Yep.
it's the absolute best time. Especially if you're somewhere we got some snow on the ground. You can easily see the trails and how they moving, where they going. Or if it's wet, you can get them lanes, know where you want to set up cameras. But it's always better to get out there sooner rather than later. Because even right now, if you got like somewhere we got like a lot of grasses, you should be able to pick up a game trail relatively easy this time of year. So you get on out there now, just be safe, mind the snakes and ticks and all of that type of stuff. But get on them lanes and see where they traveling, where they moving to. Should be a little easier to identify bedding as well. Because they're moving from feed to cover, like that pretty much just don't change. It's just a matter of where they doing it at.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I was always taught basically once deer season ends, you start scouting for the next year. You start doing your work for next season. Where them deer coming from. Put you some cameras out. Put you out some mock scrapes, some licking branches, all that stuff. Right down here in Kentucky, you can't feed right now. I don't know if y'all can bait where y'all at, but
Yeah,
we
we
can
can,
bait.
and we can definitely bait here in Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just can't do it right now until I think it's August 1st. We had a couple of cases of CWD in Kentucky, so Kentucky Fish and Wildlife was like, "Hey, y'all not gonna bait during the summer." I don't know how that affects anything, but that's how they are. So,
I
but
mean, like, 'cause speaking of that, I feel like that's. I'm not gonna say. I don't want to use the word disproven, right? But like, isn't it not something going on? Like, some states are changing that. Like as we speak, I think Tennessee, like near you, might have just
yeah,
kind of went back on that, in Pennsylvania as well. I know in
Tennessee
Virginia it doesn't
definitely
make
did.
any sense because you can bait like all year until September 1st, and then you got to be off of it for 10 or 30 days before you can hunt over it, somewhere like that.
Yeah, Tennessee did something like that. I think Texas. I'm not sure. I think y'all can bait all year round, can't
Yes,
you?
all year round. We good
All
to
year
go.
long.
That's what I thought, man. Yeah, yeah. Here in Kentucky, man. Yeah, we had a couple CWD cases, so we're not being able to bait until August 1st. So I got a couple deer feeders. I'm gonna put out. Shout out to Moultrie. They got some dope deer feeders. You can check everything on your phone, make sure it's functional and working, so you ain't got to keep going back out there and messing with it. But how do you pattern deer in the early season compared to the late season? I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on that. So Trey, I'll start with you.
Man, I have not figured out the art of pattern a deer at all, really. Like yeah, I'll get them on my game cam, and it's always hard because in the summertime you got your bachelor group, so you know where they're gonna be at, what I'm saying, in the summertime somewhat. But then as soon as the fall come and the rut start, man, they break out. And the best thing that I guess I've kind of put together is just putting out game cams. Where I used to hunt at, I would sit out on top of the hill and I would just glass weeks before the season, 3-4 weeks before opening day, and just glass and just put them to bed and kind of figure out all right, glass late in the day, and then the next day go out glass early in the morning. So just kind of seeing how they move, and then once you do that and you kind of got a little bit of data compiled up, then you can kind of make your game plan on based on your area you're in. If they got water, are they going from water to food? Are they standing on the edges? Which for the most part, a lot of deer just travel the edges. But really, when in the summertime, early season, it's food and cover, food cover and water, food cover water. So find the nearest food source that they're going to, and put your game cameras up and start getting your data.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell people this all the time, man. Early season, I feel like I haven't mastered the art of pattern and deer either. I don't think anybody has really. But early season, it's a lot easier to pattern. And the only reason I really put food out is to just see what's out there. You know, I've never killed a deer over any type of bait. It's always during the rut, close to the rut. Them deer, you think they're gonna come to your food plot, and they ain't coming. They coming somewhere else. So I tell people, just take into account early season, man. 4:30 every day, 5:30 or whatever. Them does or that buck's gonna come to your food plot. The later it gets in the season, especially during the rut, them does are gonna start running. The bucks are gonna start chasing them. You don't know where them deer's gonna come from, so keep your eyes on the swivel.
Yeah, I know I want to say 3 years ago. I think that was like the best. That was like the last time, and probably the best time I've ever patterned deer. And that was just because that year we had a terrible drought. And I mean, any water within like the property I was hunting, any water in that area was, basically dried up. And they had, a stock dam that was, still full. And I was like, well, shoot, they got to come. There's only one tree line. So they got to either come from that tree to the stock dam. So I'm just going to set up on that tree line, and they got to come. And I was seeing a trail, just back and forth. And so I just sat over that on that tree line, and about 4:30, here come a couple doe, and then boom, nice little 8-point walked out, and let them have it.
Yes, what's up? So hey Jay, man, do you use any type of like Onyx or anything like that to help you out in the woods when you're trying to scout, or is it just something to help you out, basically to find your way back to where you came from?
No, I use Onyx pretty much all the time, especially going to a place like a piece of public somewhere I haven't been before. But even the places that I have been, they have a couple layers on there that can help. Because like what you guys are talking about, like the food is pretty much it for me. Is like what I focus on, right? Because that's what a deer gonna be. It's pretty much food, bed, food, cover. Like summertime, And like you said, as the season goes on, you're gonna have bucks show up that you ain't never caught on the camera. You have no idea they was there. They just gonna come from everywhere, right? So at that point in time, I transitioned to where the does are is where I'm going to pretty much set up, try to catch them out that bedding for the rut. But Onyx has layers where you can look at the mash crop for like to see where the acorn concentrations are, because I know a lot of people they have like food plots, but like back in Virginia, for example, like you can catch them off right there on the edge, like on my place over there. It's like got this nice row of like hardwoods, and it's just acorn city, man. And like every buck I've ever shot has been right back there in that row, like of acorns coming out of the transition from the thick cover. And then it's a ditch that runs through. It's pretty much a creek. It stays with water. And in years where you got a lot of acorns, man, it's like you can almost guarantee like you find the acorns, like you're gonna find out where the deer are gonna be. And I use that layer a lot when I'm scouting to see where the concentrations of the mass producing trees are gonna be.
You
That's
know,
what's
what's wild is like you could have a food plot that's got all kind of stuff. Man, it could be a smorgasbord for deer. Them acorns on the ground, they don't care about that food plot at all. They going straight to
Because
the
because the food plot is in the open. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's the benefit that I have, like in that location there. Like they never have to step out to the open and be exposed, like in the field, because they got the acorns right back there in the timber. I mean, it's not like if I could pull a picture up of it, like I posted it on my page, but it ain't 10 yards out of the woods. It's like the most perfect row of just it goes from pines into on my part of the property, we got all the oak trees and the hardwoods. Like it couldn't be a better setup. Like they never have to step out into that field. And they're more than likely to come out early while it's still daylight.
I'm talking about even like so we had what's called like a hidey hole spot. Like y'all ever hunted over any of those?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, even like we in the timber and it's like inside the timber, but you got like it probably I would say maybe a 20 by 15 little section that we raked out and tilled up and put a food plot in. So I mean it's in the cover and they still like nope they prefer them acorns. It's like something about them
You're talking
acorns
about
is
like a
just
little kill plot, right?
yeah, little kill plot. Yeah, I mean, and dude, I've seen deer walk around it, or they'll walk just straight through it and like not even stop to eat. Like, no, I got my mind on acorns. I know where I'm going to, and you'll walk right off, and then you'll see them off in the tree just kicking up the leaves, eating the acorns. But in South Dakota, the acorns don't fall till later in the season. So you're looking at probably like right towards end of middle of November going into December. That's when all the acorns start dropping. So if you early season hunting, you pretty good. But like that one year we had that drought and the acorns just started falling early. It was a wrap.
Yeah, that's gonna be some tough hunting.
It's real tough. Yeah. Where I hunt, I got two spots I hunt. They're both private land. I don't do any public land hunting for deer. It kind of sucks for me at times because we have like some timber, but we don't own that timber. So I kind of got to set up on like a field edge and pretty much lure those deer out of the woods to get onto my property because we got about 500 around me now that hunt inside the woods. So I've kind of got to switch my strategy up this year and had to switch it up a couple years ago to get those bucks out of there. And perfect segue. Y'all was just talking about it because I think I'm the only one of the three of us that doesn't hunt public land for deer. So how do y'all approach hunting public versus private land? Where y'all at?
Shit, public.
Is there a difference?
I mean, it's a big difference. Like with public, man, the one thing that I tell cats that that's having trouble with public, you got to get in that joker. You got to get in deep, deep, deep. And I know it sounds cliche because you hear everybody say it, but a lot of people say it, but a lot of people don't do it. Like I've seen guys literally get out their truck, walk, 10, 15 yards to the tree line, and they set up. Well, you setting up on a walking trail, and people walking in and out. You got hikers and all that stuff. You got to get in deep and nasty, and that's where you're gonna find, maybe not Mr. Big, but you're gonna find something to put down. The deeper you get in. But with public land, it's just ton of scouting, seeing where they coming from, where they heading to, morning and night. It's just you got to do a whole lot more scouting on public than on, in my opinion, than you do on private land.
Yeah,
I would say,
go ahead, Jay.
oh, my bad. I would say like it's you looking for the same things, but you got to have a plan, a backup plan, a backup to the backup plan, and
Mhm.
then one more backup plan. Like that's the thing. You can't just go in there with one mentality, with one strategy. Because if you're not the first guy in there, if somebody beats you to the spot, now what? That's number one. But to go with what Trey was saying, yeah, like you got to get in there deep, but do not discount the fact that every podcast that you listen to, every magazine you read, everybody tell you got to go get in there deep, you got to go far, you got to go deep. Deer and most game animals react to pressure. I've set up about 120 yards from the parking lot on the edge of a soybean field and timber, so it's like an L shape right here in the corner. And I blew it. It was my fault. Like I got down out of the tree, I guess a little bit too early that day. I look up, picking up my stuff on the ground. Nice 8-pointer just standing there in the soybean field looking at me. I probably could have hit him with a rock, right? And that's right by the parking lot. Like, and I've seen more deer there in that spot on that piece of public because everybody wants to get in there and they just haul tail down the road because everybody think you got to go and get in deep. So it doesn't work every time. But
Yeah,
I've heard other people say it on their podcast too, like Remy said, elk hunting. Like he's killed a lot of deer, like near the elk near the trailhead, because the common knowledge is if everybody's going deep, right? It's just like if you're at the airport. If everybody got TSA pre-check, you really got pre-check, the line is going to be long, right? So you just got to be able to adapt. Like, don't get it so stuck in your head. And if you keep doing something and it's not working, be flexible and work them edges. As long as they got full cover and everything that they need, if it's near a trailhead or a parking lot, go ahead and hunt it. Especially if you see sign there. That's the biggest key. Like, read what the ground is telling you and do what the deer are telling you and adapt. Like you can't be robotic out there.
like do you think, like, with so much information out there, like podcasts, magazines, websites, like doesn't it get kind of like a bunch of noise because you have so much information coming at you, you don't know which way to turn. So like, so
Ex-
how would someone that's deciding, hey, what, this year I'm gonna go out in the woods, how do they decide to filter through all the shit and make a solid game plan?
Man, for
Like you can
real,
have
I
all the
think that
knowledge that you have. Oh, go ahead, see.
what I was gonna say is like I know when I first started deer hunting because my dad didn't deer hunt, so I had to teach myself pretty much. I was reading magazines, I was getting on YouTube. Podcast really wasn't a thing yet, so I was pretty much on YouTube, hitting up all the OGs, and every person that I went to had a different outlook on what to do. I'd go to one person. He's like, "Well, you need to get, close to a bedding area." One said you need to get close to a food source. One says you need to get close to water. So once you get out there, you got all this stuff in your mind. Especially nowadays, man, with a new hunter, there's so many podcasts and there's so much information out there. I feel like new hunters, they overthink everything.
Mhm. Shit, even seasoned hunters overthink it.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. It's hard not to really. I mean, because you've got one person telling you to do one thing, he's killed 200-inch deer. You got another person telling you another thing on another podcast or YouTube, he's killed 200-inch deer. Another person's killed 200-inch deer, and they're telling you that you got to be 25, 30 foot up in a tree stand to kill a deer. Next person's telling you, oh, you don't got to kill a deer like that. All you got to do is get you a blind and get close to a field edge. Next person said, well, you don't even need a blind. You just need to go set up in a tree somewhere where you got some cover. All them things for a new hunter, it's like, what do I do? How do I approach this?
I put
So
it to
to
you
be
like this.
honest, man, like it's just trial and error. Like you just got to go out and find what works for you.
Yep.
Exactly. That's it. It's the experience piece. Like you can have all the knowledge, take the mental notes, note what worked for you, what doesn't work in certain situations. It ain't nothing. It's nothing wrong with having multiple tools in the toolbox, right? But like you're married, see Trey, you in a relationship, engaged, right? Like it's just like dating, right? Like there's more than one way to approach. One way might work for one person, but you got to get out there and you got to try it and see what works for you. It's literally the same. And when all else fails, I just tell people like I'm a huge fan of the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid, because like just get back to the basics and the fundamentals and just get out there and hunt. Like find the animals, try and make a move, make the mistakes and learn from them, and then it'll all start to make sense. Like, but like if people are too, like microwave like these days. Like it's not gonna be instant success. That's just not realistic. That's not the way it works.
No, I know. Shit. I would say like the first year that I actually had to start hunting on public land, the first thing I was like, I got to have multiple spots. So I had, a spot south of town, a spot east of town, um, spot, 45 minutes outside of town, another spot that was like 2 hours away. I had all these game cameras set up, all these stands set up. And then, Friday after work, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go hunt this stand. So I'm checking the weather. Oh, the wind ain't good at this one. Okay, the wind ain't good here. And by the time I decided where I was gonna go hunt, shit, it's like 5:30. The spot is an hour away. By the time I get there, it's dark. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go Saturday morning. We'll get up early Saturday morning. I'm looking at all the different spots I got. Okay, this one's good, but dang, it's 3 hours away. So shit, if I get out there, by the time I get out there, the sun gonna be up. It's like you start just overthinking it instead of just picking a spot and going and sitting. And then then you go pick somewhere, and then you hear, oh dang, somebody killed a 180-inch deer, 15 yards from the stand. Could have went and sat in. So then the next day, what you go do? You go sit in that stand thinking you're gonna see the same type of deer. To the point where eventually there was some weekends where I just didn't hunt. I went like 3-4 weekends straight where I just didn't hunt because I didn't feel like either spot was good enough. In reality, shit, you can't kill him from the couch. So I should have just picked the spot and went. Started overthinking it.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people do, man. Like they sit all week long, say they get to hunt Saturday and Sunday, maybe a Monday, all week long they're sitting there listening to podcasts in their truck, podcasting at their desk, at work, whatever. And every podcast is telling them something different. So by the time Friday night gets there, they're trying to make a game plan, but they're overthinking everything. Well, should I go sit here? Should I go sit here? Should I go sit here? And then they'll look on their weather app, and some of the weather apps will tell you like prime time to go in the woods.
Yep.
I don't ever look at them.
No, don't look at that.
Don't look at that stuff because they don't know. I mean, I've seen deer come out in 90-degree weather. I've seen deer come out in negative 10-degree weather, and you never know where they're going to come from. I've killed more deer midday. People say, 12, 1 o'clock, that's when everybody goes and gets lunch or whatever, man. Especially during the rut, you better sit there all day. Because as soon as you get down, that deer might come through. So
I've told this story, I don't know how many times now, like what happened to me on Veterans Day a few years back. That big old 8-point I was after, man. I had some commitments for Veterans Day for work, so I had no choice but to get out of the stand. It was like 10:27. Man, when I pulled that SD card, like 11:07, that joker was 8 yards, walked down the path right under my tree stand, not 20 minutes after I got out of the woods. Like if I didn't have that commitment for work that day, I would have been in the tree stand all day. And I'm not saying I would have made the shot because that's probably one of the biggest deer I ever seen on the hoof. Like, so who knows how that would have turned out at that point? But you got to be up there like all day, especially because you just never know. But there are some general rules of thumb. Like when it's hot outside, you're probably not going to expect too much movement. But again, you can't never really rule it out. And like Trey just said, you can't kill them at the house. So
no, not at all. I know the first time my brother came up to South Dakota to hunt, it kind of sucked because opening day, like me and my dad put down a really nice one. So my brother was like sitting in this one spot that I on my game camera, there's not a time where I don't pull the card and I don't see 2 or 3 nice bucks that's coming through this. It's just it's set up between the creek, and then across the creek is a cornfield. So they come out the cornfield and they walk down, they drink in that creek, and then they come up and they walk right in front of the blind. Well, he sat there all morning, opening day, didn't see one deer. So he thought we was going to lunch. I'm like, nah, man, we ain't gonna do no lunch. Like it's rut, it's prime rut. Like they could pop up anytime. So like 12:30, he was like, man, I'm hungry. We need to leave. Like now, let's go get something to eat. So I'm like, all right, well, we ain't say nothing. Let's go get lunch. We get to the truck and wait for him, and he ain't come out the woods. He ain't answering his phone. I'm like, man, what this cat done? So I just start walking over there, like check on him, see what's going on. And when I get over there, this cat is stretched out on the ground because when he got out of his blind, as soon as he got out, a deer came up over the hill. So he just laid flat, and he was trying to get his rifle, but he left his rifle inside the damn blind. And when I walked over the hill behind him, the deer saw me, spooked, and took off. And he was like, "Oh man, I had an opportunity." I'm like, "Bro, you didn't even got your gun." Like, think about it. Had you just stayed in that blind like I told you to, you would have had a chip shot. So like you can't like in a rut, man. You better be ready for some long sits. It might get boring, but we all know it can happen at a drop of a dime. I'm talking like no deer, and you look and you put your head down, look at your phone, and look up, and boom, you got 3 right in front of you.
And I'd venture to say, if you bored hunting the runt, you need to find a new spot, buddy.
Yeah,
That's one time you should not be bored.
yeah. I was in that predicament a couple of years. Well, it's probably about 4 years ago now, but I got permission from the landowner to hunt. Got everything down on paper just in case something happened. Had him sign a little contract or whatever, and had everything perfect. I had patterned this deer. I was like, I know what time he's coming out. I know where he's going to be, what vicinity he's going to be in. Well, the landowner, for some reason, the night before, decided that he was going to bush hog. But he ended up bush hogging everything in front of where my blind was, and the grass was probably like knee high. So the deer had a little bit of cover when they were crossing to go to the other side of this field. So I was like, man, I'm gonna hunt the other side, try to catch them coming towards that field. Terrible decision. I hadn't seen nothing all day long. It was about noon. I was getting hungry. I was out of water. So get my backpack up, get my rifle. Unloaded my rifle. I should have kept my rifle loaded. As soon as I get up across the creek where that little spot where he had just bush hogged, the deer that I was after, it was a pretty decent age. I say he's probably 130s, 140s, standing right in the middle of that field. Sees me, takes off. I was like, and my blind was literally 30 yards from where that buck was. And I'm like, why did I just hunt here? Just because he bush hogged. Them deer are still, they're going to do deer things. They do this all the time. Just because they see that cut, it's the rut. They ain't caring about that. They noses to the ground. They ain't caring about none of that.
And they probably used to it because I know the farm I used to hunt on, like, and I didn't have a choice, a say in the matter. But the farmers, during the rut is when they was out harvesting corn.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nothing for me to be sit in a tree stand and then here come a combine and they knocking corn down, and I'm like, man, I'm not gonna see nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then I started realizing like the deer wasn't bothered by the combine. They wasn't bothered by the truck because they're used to seeing it all the time. They're used to smelling or hearing the tractor crank up. They're used to smelling the gas out there. It don't bother them. You know what I'm saying?
It don't bother them as much as you think, man.
Yeah, it don't bother them. And so I actually got lucky one year because they were combining this big cornfield where a bunch of deer were holding up in the corn. And man, I'm talking about 3 does shot out, and this was like 2019, and here come this nice 12, and he right there. he comes jump the fence and walk down the creek, and I thought he was gone because once they go down the hill and get into that creek, that's normally like their little highway because it keeps them covered up. It's so deep. And man, he popped right up in front of me, and I thought he knows I'm here. And he's just just roaming, trying to sniff for those doe. And man, he gave me an opportunity, and I let that arrow fly. And man, I was I was done. Like I was like, man, because I was getting ready to get up. I'm like, man, they're not gonna be over here.
Yeah.
But stay. But Courtney, you said something about talking to a landowner, and that's something that I try to tell young hunters or guys getting in. If you want to go knock on doors and ask a hunter, ask a landowner to hunt their property, the time ain't the day before you want to go hunt, or it's not a week before the season start. You want to go,
Now,
4-5 months down the road, and and don't go in your hunting clothes. Like I know a lot of guys, they dress up and go knocking on the door. Man, go in some nice pants, nice button up shirt. You know what I'm saying? Knock on the door. Hey, sir, my name is such and such. I was driving down the road, so you got some nice deer. Do you allow anybody to hunt on your property? And or actually don't even bring hunting up. Start just a conversation, and then slowly work it in. And ask if it's a farmer, ask, hey man, you got some work you need done, you need some fence built, you need help baling some hay, feeding, do something. And you'll be surprised a lot of times if you willing to put in some sweat equity, man, they'll let you hunt that property and they won't let nobody else hunt it either. If you're going out there doing some work for them.
Yeah, you're right. And nowadays, man, I tell everybody too,
don't get your hopes up. You better come with some money.
Huh?
These days, hunting is quickly turning into pay to play. So
It has, but like
up.
you get lucky and you find that landowner, man, that might have, might have just lost.
You got to find one for sure, but you got to put the work in. Like you ain't just gonna stumble in the first door you knock. You got to be prepared to hear a lot more no's than you ever hear yeses.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna hear a whole lot of no's.
Yeah. Hey, y'all trying to have me add something to the state or to the podcast?
You see those screenshots I put up there. So you see that first one?
Yeah.
So that's the first one when I was telling you about that story where Trey was talking about going deep. If you look at the top corner, that's the main road, and where that first dot is in the top right of you see the line. It's 153 yards. I've seen two of the biggest bucks I ever seen in my life. Like I had my set up right there. Now if you go to the third one or the next one down. Now this is the same setup. And those red dots are the acorn producing trees that I was telling you about. That's what that layer turned on. So then if you go to the last one, you pop that up. So that's the whole area, the piece of that I hunt. And if I was to turn that layer on, I had it zoomed out. Every piece of game or point of interest all lines up with the oak producing trees. And it's been successful for me. Like it's turkey, deer, what have it. And that's one of my that's from my own personal onyx right there. So like that strategy with the oak trees, like I'm not gonna say it works everywhere, but in that particular area of the country that I'm hunting, it's a producer on public or private or wherever or what have you.
Yeah. So anybody that's watching this on YouTube live or whatever, if you see Jay's Onyx, how many pins and stuff he's got posted, mine looks nothing like his. Literally,
that's just one layer for that particular place. I have a different one for different seasons.
There's a lot of different ways to use Onyx. Literally, the only thing I use Onyx for is to see what landowner, because you can see like the land and see what landowner owns what, and that's when I'll start making phone calls, especially during duck season. If I see a pond or something back here I think it's gonna hold ducks, see the landowner, I'll either call him or go to him. And like Trey said, I won't have my hunting clothes on. Go ask him, and 9 times out of 10 he's gonna say no. But I mean, you gotta do your due diligence and go ask him at least. But there's a lot of features for Onyx, and this is what a lot of people's looks like. So
that's just one of 23 folders that I have that are just like that for right now.
Yeah, super dope though. Do you use Onyx, Trey, or do you use something else?
I use Onyx. I use HuntStand because
I let them look at it too long.
I got a lifetime membership. But I jump back and forth between Onyx and HuntStand.
I got you. Yeah, HuntStand, I think, is the one that I first started using at first, and then it was telling me like where my blind was sitting, like which way my wind was blowing, like my scent was going. So that kind of helped me out to figure out, okay, I need to hunt this blind on the north wind. I need to hunt this blind on the south wind, this blind on a northeast wind or whatever, to make sure my scent's not blowing into the woods.
Yeah, if you look at the one of the small screenshots, it's on there in the Onyx too. That's what that red zero and E is with the direction. It's doing the same thing. I have it set up for optimal winds. So like if I was
Right.
gonna hunt there today, I wouldn't, because the scent is blowing directly to where you see I have the two red buck pins at. And then if you go a little bit further to the northwest there in that area, there's another one that I've seen around there. So I wouldn't hunt that on that wind today. I need a I need a good, like a good wind coming out of the north would be more ideal, or preferably a wind from the west.
And for your new hunters out there, if you're listening to this, you know, if you're hunting, say you're hunting a blind kind of on the edge of a field, and you're hunting right on the edge of a field, right there where the timber is, you don't want your scent blowing into the timber. You want the wind hitting you in the face, simply because if that buck, doe, whatever that you're after, he smells you,
Game over.
game over. And I can't tell you how many species that goes for. Like, hunt the wind, make sure the wind is right. When I first got into coyote hunting, man, there's 1,000 coyotes on my mom's farm. I thought it was going to be just as easy as going in there, setting up, setting my call out, calling them coyotes in. No, them coyotes are going to come downwind. They smell you, they gone. Deer's the same way. So make sure your wind is right. If you're a first time, even if you're not, like, hunt the wind. Make sure your scent is not blowing in the direction that you think them deer are coming out of. I cannot
And
stress that enough.
And to go along with what C is saying, to help minimize your scent, especially if you're new and you don't know any better, get you a good pair of rubber boots when you're out there setting your cameras, or you checking memory cards, especially the closer you get to the season. You want to help minimize that scent. Get you a good pair of rubber boots when you're out there. That'll help. It's not perfect. You still want to be mindful of the wind and your scent control, but you got a much better chance at it with a good pair of rubber boots on.
And this is maybe just a me thing. Guys might not agree, but I use rubber gloves when I'm changing out my game cameras, when I'm changing out my SD cards, because I'm just afraid that, like, my hands, I'm gonna leave some scent on that game camera, and any scent they put that in that memory bank. And they're like, last time I smelled this, I saw this cat walking through the wood, this guy walking through the woods. So I smell like him. I'm out. So
Yeah, actually, since they stole my cameras, I don't have any more that actually use memory cards anymore. So, but I'll definitely keep that in mind when I go out there and put some cell cams out.
Yeah, mostly everybody now is using cell cams. So basically, you go out there one time, those cell cameras, depending on what kind of batteries you got or those power packs that they got out now, you ain't gotta go back in there for a while, and that helps you out because you're not leaving scent everywhere.
Yeah.
But that is smart for Trey though to use rubber gloves, because there's a lot of scent in your hands that you don't think would be, and plus, like, you
Yeah,
might have just
don't even
pumped
think about
gas
it.
or something before you came out there. You got gas on your hands. You might have bleach or something. Just got done washing dishes, Dawn or something. Like, they remember all that.
all that.
It's crazy, man. Like my uncles don't do hardly none of that stuff. I didn't watch this joker smoke a cigarette, have a deer walk right in front of his stand. I'm like, yo, come on, B. And then here I am, like I'm super OD about it. Like when the season come, I wash them with the scent free stuff, put them in a container, right? It go in the truck. Like I wake up and, like, whatever, it don't matter if it's cold outside. I ain't going out there with nothing but a white beater on and some shorts. I change in the truck, like out once I
Yeah,
get to the parking spot outside. Like I
I
don't
got
wear
an uncle
clothes
like
in the
that.
house, none of that.
I got an uncle like that too, man. My uncle, he used to smoke. He don't smoke no more, but he used to smoke these King Edward cigars, and I would be literally on the other side of him of the fence. So we had blinds on each side of the fence. He'd be hunting one field, I'd be hunting on the other field, and I could literally smell them cigars every time he'd light one up. And every year he'd kill one of the biggest deer on our property, just sitting there smoking a King Edward cigar. Didn't have no. I mean, he had a little blind, like he had like made up like one of them turkey blinds that you just set up in front of you, and he put a chair back there. And man, be sitting there just smoking King Edward cigars and see 1,000 deer. So
Doing it on the ground is crazy.
Yeah,
At least
that's
my
what I
uncle
mean.
was in the tree stand. Golly.
Yeah, my uncle got like a makeshift blinds down that he makes himself. I call them slave shacks. That's what they literally look like. But that man's a hunter, you know. But the older he gets, the warmer he wants to get. So he'll make them little, and he'll put a buddy heater or something in there with him.
Or my buddy, but little buddy be, hey, them joke with the lightsaber, man.
them come in handy, man. But let's talk about gear. For your first time deer hunters or even your seasoned deer hunters. Does your gear I know mine switches up from early season to late season. I'll basically in the early season I'll usually have on something bottom laying. But I'll usually just have my bow, some water, whatever. Usually when the rut comes, I've got some type of scent with me. I've got a buck grunt, I've got a doe bleat, and I've got rattling antlers. How did y'all setup change from early season to late season?
I mean, you pretty much just nailed it for me.
Yeah,
You pretty much just that's pretty much it, man. It's just more layers. Pretty much it depends on where I am, like what type of camo I'm in, but other than that, it pretty much stay the same.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much layers. But I tend to take my bag out, and in my bag got the same thing in it from early season to late season. Like I always have my rattle antlers, because if I take it out of my bag, I'm gonna end up losing or leaving it at home or losing in the woods. So I just keep everything in my bag, and when it's time for me to go, just take it out the tote and go.
It's always in the truck in the case that I spoke about earlier, in case I need it, so I can adapt. But like I won't take it out unless I'm planning on using that strategy for the day.
Yep. No, I take everything because I like sometimes I just be BSing in the woods. I'm like, I wonder if I rattle late season or like early season, like, can I bring a deer in? And I'll just not like crashing them, but just like a little, just tinkering a little bit, just like a little sparring. And dude, I've nothing big, but like little forkhorn come up running, looking like who out here having fun, who out here playing around. And it's like, bro, I thought you was somebody bigger, man. You was gonna get an arrow in you, man.
I carry one of these too, and I'm gonna have to get y'all one. It's called Mac Daddy, Deer Pimp Scents and Lures. This dude named Wes Brewer that lives literally right down the road from me. He owns a deer farm. And this thing here is like a diffuser. So you unscrew the bottom. You can put doe estrus. You can put buck pea. You can put any kind of scent that you want to in there. And it goes in the bottom. And you screw it on like a diffuser and turn it on. If you got it set on low, you get a 4-second burst every 17 minutes, medium 5-second burst every 12 minutes, and on high 6-second burst every 10 minutes. It's all fresh. And I can't tell you how many deer you can get on his website and see like some of the deer that have been harvested over this thing, dude. It's an absolute game changer.
Is it synthetic or natural?
It's natural. He owns a deer farm, so everything that he bottles up during the rut and everything, like it's all pure. There's no
the reason I asked, because like in Virginia, like I wouldn't be able to use that because they outlawed natural stuff. Like even the Tink 69 and stuff in Walmart, it all says synthetic on the bottle. We're not allowed to use it anymore. And I guess you can take a guess why. The famous 3-letter word CWD is what they blame it on, but it's banned. I'm not too sure what the status of that is in Texas, but if it's allowed, I'd definitely like to take a shot at it.
I'm gonna get y'all some, man, because I can tell you, man. Like I said, I didn't get to use it last year, but a lot of my buddies used it, and during the rut, like you said, them deer when the rut comes, They heads ain't popping up. They nose is to the ground. And you put one of them things on the ground and that puff of air and that scent comes in there, they're coming in there. My buddy killed, I think, a decent, I think he was like in the 150, 160 class within like 15 minutes of having this thing out. Like sitting there talking to his daughter, and his daughter just happened to look up, and there it was. And I mean, there's a lot of good stories on his. It's called Mac Daddy from Deer Pimp Sense and Lure. So y'all make sure y'all go check him out. He's got plenty of stuff on the websites from like cover scents to stuff like that you would need. And going back to what Jay said, like my rubber boots, if I'm going out to scout or something, I will spray some type of cover scent on my boots and on me, just depending on what I've got at the time, just to minimize what scent that I'm leaving in the woods. But going back to gear, man, depending on where you're at, what state you're in, some people can use rifles, some people can't. Just make sure you check your regulations and your laws. You can either use, some I think allow straight wall cartridges like Indiana, which is like your 30-30, your 350 Legends, stuff like
Ohio's on that too, right?
Yeah, and some won't allow that, so they just allow shotguns. So make sure you got a shotgun that can shoot slugs and stuff like that. Just make sure you got the right gear out there. If you're a guy that's got bad shoulders or whatever, you get that thing from your doctor where you can use a crossbow. We ain't gonna get into that much, but as archers, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna have my bow out there.
Yep.
I like getting close and personal. I used to be a big rifle guy, but the older I get, man, and I like to take stuff with my bow. Get them as close as you can. Practice up for that kill shot. Make sure you kill the deer fast as possible with the best shot possible, because we owe it to the deer to let him down as easy as possible. So what's y'all's thoughts on I know the answer to both of y'all. Rifle versus bow.
I mean, rifle versus bow, man, I don't feel no way about it, because I mean I'll take the rifle out, during rifle season, because it's just hard to archery hunt during rifle season unless you got private land. But if you hunt in public during rifle season, you can hang it up hunting bow. Like it's especially in like South Dakota, it's a wrap. Once the Orange Vest Army come out there, if anybody around you rifle hunting, anything moving, getting smoked. So you might as well have your boomstick too. But I don't have no bad opinions about it.
And for me, man, the only time I really use it's not even, most of the time it's not even a rifle, because my county in Virginia is not allowed, but here in Texas, rifles pretty much fair game everywhere. But the places that I hunt, usually the bow is my go-to. The only other time I really put it away is if I'm hunting and back in Virginia, they running them dogs around like with them drives. Anything you see is going to be running on pretty much the dead sprint. So it's pointless. You better have a shotgun and a slug in that situation. But going back to what you said about the regs, when you knew, I just want to make sure y'all know, most places, the regs aren't statewide. Like, it's county specific. So don't think just because one thing is fair game in one place, you need to check it and know it for every single place that you're going to be hunting at. So you don't want to accidentally violate and run into some trouble. But yeah, for me, you already know the answer. It's bow till I can't, till I can't. So
Yeah, I heard that. It depends for real where I'm hunting. Like, I prefer bow, but if I'm hunting the property I've got that's about an hour and a half away from me, I'm gonna have my bow with me in the truck. But if it's rut, I'm gonna use that rifle down there, just because it's a lot more open. It's a little bit longer shots. But the farm that I hunt on, I'm definitely gonna have my bow every time. I know just pretty much where I need to set up. how far I need to shoot, which is relative to some people. I won't shoot past 40 yards. Some people won't shoot past 60. Some people will shoot 100. Like, it's just whatever you're comfortable with, and you know you can make a good shot, have at it. But yeah, I know Jay's got to get out of here pretty soon, so I'm gonna start with you, Trey. If a brand new hunter asks you how to best use the month of September to prepare for the season, what's your top piece of advice you'd give them?
With archery season?
Archery season.
Ooh, the best piece to prepare. For a brand new archer, pick a spot and learn as much as you can about that spot and pretty much stick to it. Like
Okay.
as a new archer, a new hunter, man, hopping around from spot to spot to spot. I mean, unless you know, you got the means to, like you know these areas already. Yeah, but if you new to the game, never hunted, and you go into a piece of public land, pick that spot, learn as much as you can about it, and hunt it till the wheels fall off.
Facts. About you, Jay?
Month of September, hopefully you have somewhere that you want to focus on. I would say um, get you some observation sits in. And what I mean by that, take your bow, because bow season starts like September 1st in Texas here. In Virginia, it starts early. Take your bow with you, but just get out in the woods, try and be around the animals, see what they're doing, see if you can get a feel for them. If you get an opportunity, great. But if not, just keep that in the memory bank for a little bit later on, like when the actions start to heat up, so you can have a little bit of knowledge of where you're hunting and you just getting that experience of being out there. That's the most important thing. If the wind is good, make sure you get out there and take and have a sit, and you can be ready if you get a chance. But that would be my most important thing. Get you some early intel in that way.
Man, I had a homeboy in Ohio. I got a homeboy in Ohio, and him and his wife had just bought this house, and the house probably sit on like 80 acres, maybe 100 acres. But they move in, and in the middle of moving in, he's like, you know what, man, I'm tired, but I want to go out and just do an observation sit. I ain't trying to, put nothing down. I just want to go and see what's on our property. You know what I'm saying? Goes out, 45 minutes in, ends up putting down a double drop time. I think ended up scoring like 204 or something like that.
Wow.
And he ended up saying it during the observation sit, which he's like normally don't take his bow. He normally don't take his bow at all, and put that bad boy down. I wish I should have sent you.
And that's why if the season's open, you take your weapon of choice with you at all times.
Oh yeah, y'all can't see it. I'll send it to y'all. But yeah, it was just like I said, season's open. Man, I look, I'm just gonna slide out and see what's out there, and end up putting it down. And I was like, yeah, I always have you both. But season's in it, always take that bad boy out, because you never know what you're gonna see.
You never know what you're gonna see. But yeah, man, I know Jay's gotta get off here, so I appreciate y'all hopping on with me tonight, man. So but y'all check us out, New Jack Archers. We go live on Instagram about every Monday. We'll be going live Monday. What's that date, fellas? The 10th, the 9th? June 9th.
Monday this week is the 9th.
The 9th.
Yeah, June 9th. So make sure y'all check us out. We've got a lot of topics to go over. It's basically for the new archers, for the old school archers. We just like talking archery. We're three brothers that love bows, we love bow hunting. So y'all make sure to check us out. Make sure you check out Equalized Outdoor, my boy J Cam. Make sure you check out my homie, the Dreaded Archer podcast on Carbon TV. And he also has a podcast with his brother, RTL, Retalk and Listen podcast, where they discuss sports, pretty much everything. They talk about everything on there. Him and his brother, they be having me dying laughing. They finally sent me, well, Trey did. I got the receipts. He finally sent me my shirts. They should be in the mail. Nick, I'm still waiting on the one I won the other night. So you on the clock.
And I'm probably going to end up having to sit in that because his ass is leaving for Florida in the morning.
Yeah, so but big congrats to Trey, man, on another little dreaded Archer coming soon, man. Proud of you, bro. Proud of
Absolutely,
you.
man.
Proud of
Congrats,
you,
man.
Jay. Y'all keep grinding. Y'all keep knowing what you're doing. You know, hopefully this new jack will take off, man. And y'all got any final thoughts?
No, man. Just if you a new hunter out there, man, just like I said, pick up that bow, get that tag, pick up that bow, and hey, go have fun, man. Don't overthink it.
That's it. Keep it simple, man. That's all I got, man. Stay safe, more importantly than anything.
Stay safe. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Big game, small game, all game. We do this too. Out.
Country boy.
I get up before the rooster, put on my camo, load up my bow and my rifle and stock the ammo. I'm a bullet with the bullet, but I'm lethal with the arrow. Always down for the hunt, dove, turkey, and big bucks. Hit the woods and get fitted up. Mossy oak all across my fit, don't be surprised, we do this too.
I be up before the sun with my 30 at 6. Hard body on, I ain't worried about the kick. Yeah, we do